Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news after what was a very satisfying win last night, I think, for any Manchester United fan, but a very odd night. I was just looking at some of the vlogs this morning from that Adam was doing with people, and very mixed opinions, but ultimately I think the bottom line is the result. But there's a lot to discuss. Ollie sort of throwing shade onto his players a little bit, not in the way that Ollie does it. Ollie's a nice guy, but certainly spoke about tactics, which we'll talk about. I think it's definitely a plaster over the wound, and look, as I keep saying, we dream the same dream, we want the same thing, we want Manchester United to win. I see people this morning arguing with each other, people going, this is what supporting your team means, and then other people saying, we're never going to win anything with this manager. Everybody wants the same thing. I don't know why you're arguing about it amongst yourself. Everybody wants the same thing. They want to see United winning trophies. It's not about politics, minor politics within. We all want the same thing. And it frustrates me that people start arguing about things when ultimately everybody was happy we won. But people have got their eyes wide open. Even Ole Gunnar Solskjaer after the game said they're a really good team and we were lucky. We were lucky. We threw caution to the wind at the end and we got very lucky. I mean, I was even thinking this morning, remember when Villarreal had that 2v1 against Delo and they messed it up? On top of all the chances they did have, they should have won that game. And Ollie says they're a difficult team to play. I'm sorry, this is part of the problem. They're not a difficult team to play. They're a well-coached team that hasn't really got many stars in it. If that was at Anfield or that was a Man City, you would expect and not be surprised if Liverpool or Man City ran that game and won it 2-3, 3-1, something like that. So look, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer doesn't want to play good football or doesn't know how to play good football. I think we need to accept that. And what you got last night, and if you listen to Ronaldo and you listen to Ollie and you listen to the players, in that last 15 minutes, the crowd at Old Trafford basically won us the game. They were absolutely up for it. And Ollie sort of went, you know what, I'm going to go a little bit caution to the wind, and he did, and we won the game. And fortune favours the brave, but the fans were absolutely huge last night. We're going to talk about Donny in a minute. We're going to talk about Pogba. We're going to talk about results. We're going to talk about fight back. We're going to talk about some of Ollie's comments. We're going to talk about the team as well. But have no doubt that the fans won the game for the Manchester United last night. You can talk about coaches, you can talk about poor performances, you can talk about long balls, but ultimately anybody who could hear that crowd or was in that crowd last night, you won United the game. Listen to the players. That's what pushed them on. I think if those fans had been like, you know what, this is crap, or I'm going to leave early, I think the players would have. Well, we saw what the players did for 70 minutes. The fans did that yesterday. And Matic came in and did it as well. Everyone will talk about the impact Lingard had. I mean, Lingard basically went up front. Like, he wasn't playing in a set position. It was chaotic again. It was like West Ham again, and it worked. How many times is that going to work? Just chucking Lingard, he's not playing. Some people are saying, let's pick Lingard against Everton. What? Just running around near Ronaldo? Like, it won't work. It's something you do in the last 20 minutes to try and get a result, and look, he's very effective at doing it. I mean, why do people always have to become a starter? Do you not analyse the game? Lingard in the last 20 minutes creates chaos because he doesn't really play to a position, so he's hard to pick up. And we've had a couple of goals, West Ham and last night, because of that. In a starting team, we're not going to go caution to the wind from minute one, are we? So I wouldn't necessarily go for that. But the Matic substitution for me was the change. We played with McTominay. I want to talk about what Ollie said, actually. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said this. Let me just read these super chats first. Ollie needs to wash up his dusty tactics or else he'll be going, says Lucas. And Ginger Ferry says, I feel so sorry for Donny. Clearly, Ollie don't like him. That's why my friend are always favoured. Seeing his frustration on the bench, I really feel for him. Look, Donny, I noticed it live last night. We were doing the watch-along. I noticed it live last night. We'll talk about that. Watch the Donny clip last night. Heartbreaking, says Nader. If you Villarreal are 11th in Spain, says Ziggy. Look, we'll talk about that in a minute. Let's talk about Donny very quickly. Donny van der Beek, I spotted it on the watch-along last night watching the game. Fred and Lingard were coming on, and you saw Donny. Henderson put his arm on his shoulder. Eric Bailly was consoling him, and he just sort of shook his head, took his chewing gum out and threw it on the floor next to Mike Phelan. And Mike Phelan was sort of like, he had that look about him where he knew exactly that Donny was pissed off, but he was sort of like ignoring it, like, They are literally snubbing him in front of the world. This is as bad as we think. Like, we've won the game last night, so but we've, Donny, I've seen stories written about it, so we've got to talk about it for a moment. They are destroying that lad's career. Now, some people won't care because United are winning games, but they are destroying that lad's career. He was man of the match last week. Every time I've seen him, he looks way better than McTominay and Fred. McTominay was crap last night. He wasn't much better at the weekend. Fred has been crap all season. I don't care whether you're Donny van der Beek, James Ward-Prowse, or, Sean Longstaff, if you're sat on that bench, you are 100%. If you've ever played any competitive sport, or if you've ever gone for a job and somebody's got it unfairly, you can feel that. And I've played competitive sport and I've gone for jobs and people have got it unfairly. He is being absolutely shunned. And it's horrible to see, but it's not our argument. We're United fans, and we can bring it up, but you can visibly see how pissed off he is, and it is a joke. I thought Matic not starting yesterday was a joke. Not coming on at half time was a joke, and when he came on with 15 minutes to go, we stopped hitting long balls and we got hold of the midfield. And you're like, I can't. It's like last night. It's like I said. Hopefully that's a spark for Everton, and I think we will beat Everton. I did say in the prediction, I think we'll beat Villarreal, and all the way through the game people were saying you're talking out your arse, Goldbridge, and I was like, but this is what we do under Ollie. We did it under Mourinho a bit as well. You think we're not playing well, we can't win it, and then moments come through. Villarreal should, you can't give any credit to the tactics last night, because really it was bad finishing, brilliant goalkeeping, and mistakes and moments that won us that game. You played that game 10 times, we wouldn't win it 8, let alone, I don't think we'd win it twice. I think we've won the 1 out of 10 that we would win, but we have won. On Donny, if I was there on that game, I'd be throwing my chewing gum. I'd think about getting up and walking back to the dressing room to beat the traffic. Literally, he's not going to ever get used. I said this before the season started. Ollie does not like him, and I don't know why. They don't want to use him. He's an honest lad. Everyone who knows him says he's an honest lad. He's a hard-working lad. He's a good player. They just don't want to use him. It's sabotage. It's almost sabotage. I don't get it. When you're watching Scott McTominay play as a number 6 and he hasn't got a clue how to do it, and then Fred's doing it and he hasn't got a clue how to do it, and he's subbing off Pogba as the number 8 and he's not bringing you on, it's like, what did he do, right? McTominay was playing bad as a number 6, so he takes Pogba off to put McTominay where Pogba was playing to bring on a new number 6. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you think. You've got to understand a player's frustration there. Absolutely. I'd be destroyed by that, and I think he is destroyed. And also the big thing is he's played a Carabao Cup game, which his agent said that's not what he's here for. He's here to play proper games, and he wants to play. He's played a Carabao Cup game. He was man of the match, and he's not played a minute since being man of the match in that game. He's not been trusted in the league for 1 minute, and he's not been trusted in the Champions League for 1 minute, despite our midfield being poor. Why didn't we let him go to Everton? I think it's disgusting behaviour. I thought the midfield was poor yesterday. But even Paul Pogba walking on the pitch last night, if you saw Pogba walking on the pitch, Tally was not happy about being subbed as well. So, look, we won the game, and I think that's the main thing. And I'm hoping it's going to be a spark. But it's a plaster over the wound. And, the Donny thing is disgusting at this stage. It's disgusting to treat any player like that at any club. But this is a player that Real Madrid wanted, that Barcelona wanted, that was a Dutch international and was one of the most exciting midfielders in European football outside the Premier League. We've brought him to United and we've destroyed his career. Eddie gave us the boost and Lingard is an impact sub. I thought Cavani was brilliant, and you've got to find a place for him in the team. He was brilliant. How he's going to do that, I don't know. Donny breaks my heart. Maybe he's realised taking the nice guy approach won't work. Free Donny, says Nicole. I think he's tried everything, Nicole. I think he's tried absolutely everything, Nicole. And Sir Alex was lucky too, but I'm with Mark. Why Ollie see Fred in? He's shocking. Donny is way better, says Ray. Well, Fred came on because Tellez was injured. I've got no problem with that. At first I was like, what's that all about? But, he came on for that. But interesting, so much to talk about this morning. Let me just talk about some of Solskjaer's comments after the game. He said the 2 centre-backs did well to stop a few counter-attacks, but David was exceptional. David was fantastic. He did absolutely brilliant. He basically said he was world class. But this was the most interesting thing Solskjaer said after the game for me. He said, we wanted to go more attacking. We played with 2 number 8s, wide wingers, a centre forward, but Scotty was left a little bit on his own defensively. I don't like how open we were. Well, you know what's happening at the weekend? Return of the Mac, Tommy and Fred. Return of the Mac. McTominay and Fred. It'll be return of McTominay and Fred, because basically what Ollie's done there is he's sort of won a game. He's won a game, and then afterwards he's come out and justified why he picks McTominay and Fred, because we were too open and McTominay was left on his own. But you know what? We tried to play more attacking with 2 number 8s and wide forwards, and then hit long balls. I was talking to Adam this morning. I said, you know what a great result. But to be honest with you, it's one of the biggest escape. It's the great escape. I half expected Steve McQueen to start doing laps on his motorbike. It was the great escape because we were terrible. We were absolutely terrible. That first hour was unbelievably bad. It was dreadful. It was long ball. And I'm like, for Solskjaer to come out after the game and say, we tried to play more attacking with 2 number 8s and wide players. Like, I gave Sancho, Greenwood, Pogba and Bruno a 5 out of 10. That's below average. And I said they got that because we didn't give them the ball in the areas they wanted to. We just bypassed them and hit long balls. So I'm confused by what's going on at United, to be honest with you, because he's saying that Scotty got overrun. Well, he didn't. He doesn't know how to play number 6 for a start. He was dreadful at 6. And Bruno, Sancho, Pogba and Greenwood were dreadful as well because we didn't play attacking football. We played long ball. That's not attacking football. So I'm confused by that, to be honest with you. But as I said before, we won the game, and we had to win that game yesterday. And some people will say it's the perfect result because, those people who don't rate Ollie, they can still say he's crap, but we won. And those who do rate Ollie can say, well, we've won, so it's the perfect result. It's not the perfect result. The perfect result would have been to go and play attacking football and beat them 3 or 4-0. For me, I questioned something that came into my head this morning was, we lose to Villa with a penalty, and everyone's like, we're going to fight back, bounce back, will we go again and all this, and everyone's in Bruno's DMs and everything like that. And then you see that performance for an hour and you go, that's not lost on me. We've just lost at home to Villa. We were terrible. You expect a reaction. You expect some good football. We didn't, the scary thing for me is that in a footballing sense, we lose to Villa and then we come out and put that hour out. I'm like, I was stunned. Like, let's be honest. Apart from David De Gea, really, for an hour, we were all they were all terrible. And I just worry about this fight back bounceability. It's almost like I just don't get it. I don't get it. And you see the players on the pitch at the end and they're all hugging and they're all happy. It makes you question the intelligence levels of the footballers in relation to the way we're playing, because do they not see what most United fans are seeing, that we're dreadful? Like, we're playing dreadfully bad. Like, we the centre-backs I thought did quite well on the ball, but they hit so many long balls because McTominay doesn't know how to play 6, and therefore you can't get the ball to Bruno, Pogba, Sancho or Greenwood into feet. So, but the players are playing the system. Surely they look at Villarreal and the way they're pinging the ball about and go, I'd like to see that happening. Ronaldo's over the moon because he's scored a goal at the end and he's thrown his shirt up and everything like that. But if he doesn't score that goal, or even if he does score that goal, does he not lie there in bed at night going, bloody hell, we got away with that. I'm not going to score many goals at this team, am I? There's a real identity crisis in the way that we're playing football. And those sort of results can be the spark to something. But my fear is at the weekend, because of the comments that Ollie said, he'll go back to I don't like how open we were. But we're open because you're not playing a number 6. Like, you're not playing with a number 6. If you'd have played Matic in that game, Matic changed the game for me. We stopped playing long ball and he just started dropping in between the 2 centre-backs, taking the ball and passing, and he was even getting forward as well. I don't understand why he won't play Matic. I think it would make us a totally different team. That's why I said in the preview, Matic and Pogba, I think, you get the best out of Pogba with Matic and you get someone who can run the midfield. Pogba can't play with McTominay, it's very obvious. It's not going to work. So we're going to go back to McTominay and Fred again, and that means Pogba's going back on the wing again. Lots of people were saying Sancho's a flop. He's not a flop. He's not a flop. He's just playing in a system that doesn't suit him. Sancho's not a flop. Far from it. He's getting long balls or slow ball. We're not moving through the midfield. So we've wasted 75 million quid at the moment because we've bought a player that's a transitions player. He's a possession-based player. We're not playing possession-based football in the final third. So, yeah, the football is still a big question mark. The way we're playing, focusing on attacking, on transition and counter-attack, there was no point getting Sancho. May as well have kept Dan James, says Joshua Bowwater. At the moment, you're not wrong. We've got to improve the way that we're playing football. I just hope Ollie reboots to his interim manager mode. Our football was so much better then, says Mojo. Yeah, I do. I agree with you on that, and I think ultimately, when you look at the game, I don't want to I just think the fans were David De Gea and the fans were just superb last night, and it's great that the players acknowledge that, because it was one of the worst performances I've ever seen from United. It was dreadful for like an hour, and then I think Tele's goal gives the crowd a lift, and then Ollie throws caution to the wind, fair play, and then it was chaos. It was chaos. There was no shape to it. It was sort of like Villarreal, I think, were tired, and we were just like throwing caution to the wind, and Cavani's energy was panicking them. I think their defence was panicked at the end because there was just so many players around. I thought Ronaldo was our worst player last night, and I was calling him to come off. Lucky FC again, says Michael. Yeah, but you can't ever take Ronaldo off. That's the thing. I've seen him so many times in recent years as he's become a number 9 that you've got Ronaldo sort of went on the wing, didn't he? He's not a winger. He seemed to get worse on the wing, but he found himself in that position and he scored a goal. McFred do what they're told by rubbish coaches. Donny doesn't play because Ollie can't handle players who can think for themselves, in my opinion, says rest up, build up. And also, Ollie hates Donny because Ollie was only a sub and last choice striker during Van Nistelrooy time in United. Revenge from Ollie, Donny and Van Nistelrooy are Dutch, says Downey. Okay. Sorry, I hadn't mentioned it. We have got a new hoodie out and t-shirt. Links in the video description, and we do ship worldwide. Well timed as well, because if it wasn't for him last night, we'd be talking about problems in the Champions League group, which I don't think exists now. 4 points from 3 points from the first 2 games. We should be in a strong position to go through. But if you want to get one of these, they're out now. Link in the video description, and we do ship worldwide. By playing McTominay as lone DM and Mason Greenwood as right wing, Ollie hung out Delo to dry, and now Diogo is receiving disgusting abuse from this xenophobic fan base, says Andre. Well, look, I prefer Wan-Bissaka. And I think Wan-Bissaka's a fantastic right back, and I think a lot of people will see that now. But to be honest with you, Delo, I haven't really got anything bad to say about Delo. I gave him 4 out of 10 because it was a 4 out of 10 performance. That's not hateful. That's not abuse. I like Delo, but what I don't understand about Ollie and some sections of our fan base is we can give Fred every bloody week. We can give McTominay every week, and they can play badly and they'll still play. It's like, please, you can have 10 games until you play okay. Like, it doesn't matter how bad they play, they can play. But people like Delo, they come in the team, they have a bad game, and people are like, oh, they're a load of crap. Why can't Delo have the chances that a McTominay's had or a Fred's had? Why can't he? And why is it a surprise he plays badly when it's his, he's going to be rusty, isn't it? It's a massive game that we need to win against, as Ollie said, a very good side, and Greenwood gave him no support at all. Now, Delo had a bad game. I'm not saying if Greenwood had supported him, he'd have had a better game, but he did get exposed a lot because they weren't tracking back. They were wide forwards, like Ollie said. So it wasn't in the game plan for Greenwood to track back as much. So, it was a difficult game for Delo, and obviously I think a lot of people wanted him to do really well because there seems to be a bit of an agenda in some fans to get Wan-Bissaka out of the team. But I wasn't, I like Delo. It doesn't make me think anything less of him just because he had a bad game last night. Do you think Donny was out of order last night, says S. Ahmed? No, I don't. But I didn't think David Beckham was out of order when he kicked out against Simeone. I think obviously, people will say it's petulant and some people won't like it. I get that. But it's his career. His career is on hold. Like, it's not even a United thing. Donny van de Beek's career is on hold. As I said, he was man of the match a week ago. He's not had a minute since then. What are you supposed to do? How frustrating must it be to train hard every training session, when you're given a chance, you play well, and then the next 2 games you lose and you're shit in the game against Villarreal, and he won't give you 10 minutes. He won't give you a chance, yet you were man of the match. How frustrating must that be? So chucking a bit of chewing gum on the floor, I've got no problem with it. In fact, I applaud it. Because I think we're fed up as fans of saying, why doesn't Donny get a chance? And at least we know the player is probably feeling it 100 times worse than us. The thing with Donny that I think I relate to the most is the fact that you are watching Scott McTominay play like that. You are watching Fred play like he's played. Pogba gets subbed off as well. 3 players didn't play well or haven't played well in the last 2 games, and he's not been given a chance. It's like, there's no point in being at that football club. None at all. And he won't start on Saturday. You could say, well, he's well rested for the game against Everton. Maybe he's going to start. Ollie needs to win against Everton. He doesn't trust Van der Beek. He doesn't trust Matic. He's going to go with McTominay and Fred. Mark, I think Donny isn't Ollie's signing. Why else would a manager sign someone then never use him? If you were the manager and the board signed someone you didn't want, how do you handle that player, says Chris. You know what? I've got no. I think Donny's a good player, and I think hopefully he will still have a good career wherever he goes. If Solskjaer doesn't want to play him, he's the manager. It's up to Solskjaer. I can't moan about that. But the reality is he should have let him go. He should have gone to Everton. You can't keep a player. Brandon Williams was the same in January. He should have gone on loan last January. Loses 5 months of his career because Ollie's like, what if I get a load of injuries? Well, are you going to pick me anyway? No. Okay, well, let me go. I feel so bad for Donny, says Agnesh. And seeing United playing under Solskjaer for so many games now, every game has the same feeling. Win or loss, it feels like we're playing without a midfield, says Sup. And Mark, we've done that one from Chris. Thanks for the super chats as well. A lot of people saying, like, over the last few days, they've said to me, why won't you say you're Ollie Out? And I think this is the thing, right? You've got to make your own choice in life. As I said, I firmly believe everybody wants the same thing. As United fans, we want United to win, and we want United to win and be proud of the way we win. Winning's great. Last night was a very, very important win. Were you proud of that win? It was moments like Ronaldo's goal is elation. Tellez's goal is, oh my god. I'm not proud of that performance. I thought it was abysmal. And this is what I will say honestly. I don't mind if people are Ollie in or Ollie out, because ultimately it's about what's best for Manchester United. But I will say this: we have got a dreadful coaching setup at the moment. Now that doesn't mean that you're Ollie out. That we are second. We are 1 point off the top of the league, and we will, I believe, qualify for the next round of the Champions League. No football club should be sacking a manager in that situation. I don't care whether the club will or they won't, and they won't. I firmly do not believe you should be sacking a manager who's 1 point off the top and is going to qualify from the Champions League, and you've just bought people like Rafael Varane, Jadon Sancho, Cristiano Ronaldo. 100%, if I'm in charge of this club, would I sack Ole Gunnar Solskjaer right here, right now? No, I wouldn't. So I'm not going to be Ollie Out. It's not about pretending. It's not about appreciating the football. I don't. As I said on the watch along last night, if I was in charge of Manchester United, I would have Solskjaer and his coaches in my office this morning, and I would say, we are getting away with it, lads. I watched that game last night. It was crap. Absolutely crap. And it was crap against Villa as well. And a lot of this season we've been a bit crap. Like Wolves, we shouldn't have won that game. It was jammy. Southampton, we could have lost it. If David De Gea wasn't playing like he was, we'd be in real trouble and we'd be having a different conversation. Now, yes, you've been lucky, and look, that's fantastic. But if you don't start getting us to play football, you're going to sack yourself, because the football's not good enough. And I want to know why it's not good enough. So I applaud you for winning. We're 1 point off the top of the league, lads. We're going to qualify from the Champions League group, but do better. You admit yourself you've been lucky. We've got to play better than this. What are you doing with your midfield, by the way, as well? Why have we spent £35 million on Donny van der Beek? But I'm wandering into something else there. But that's where I am as a fan at the moment. And everybody has to be where they want to be. I don't want to get into arguments with fans, because I don't mind if you're Ollie out and I don't mind if you're staunch Ollie in. It's your opinion. But for me, at the moment, I'm massively frustrated with the way that we're playing football. But where we are factually in the league and in the Champions League, you don't sack a manager based on that. Now, in a month's time, if we keep playing like this, we might not be going through in the Champions League and we might be mid-table side. But you know what? It might be the spark for something. But somebody needs to give Solskjaer and his coaches a kick up the arse, because that long ball football at Old Trafford, we got played off the park by Villarreal last night. I don't care what anybody says. And they're not that good, Villarreal. They're not that good. They're a mid-table La Liga side that won the Europa League. There's a very big indication there that they're not one of the best teams in Europe. And yet they came to Old Trafford and played us off the park because they're well coached. Capoue played the perfect six yesterday. Their football was fantastic. They were a little bit toothless up front. They don't have the squad that we've got. When their striker Moreno and Chukwueze are out, they're going to struggle. And they were missing a midfielder as well, Coquelin. So, they played fantastically well. They didn't deserve to lose that game, but I'm very glad that they did. But as I said at the start of the video, it feels to me, Donny, Tellez, Ahmad, Sancho, what a waste of 160, says Jack Brown. And Ollie has reverted to his pre-lockdown form. We haven't played any proper team yet. Things will get really messy very quickly, says Andre. And you might be right on that. And welcome to the Members Club, Gabrielle. You might be right on that, but I'm never going to not be honest. Never going to not be honest about how I feel. I really like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I've probably been more patient with him than most. There are some people who absolutely are more patient than me. I get that. I really want him to do well. And, part of me, maybe I could have been a little bit more harsh on Solskjaer, but I don't want to be because I like him. But to be honest with you, I said it after the Villa game and I'll say it again after that game last night. Over Solskjaer at the moment, there is this big sign that says, is he a good manager? And at the moment, I don't think he is. I don't think he is. I think it's terrible at the moment. But what he's always had is this ability to grind out games. And Moments FC, you can't argue with the fact that we didn't deserve to win last night. But I've seen teams win. I mean, somebody said to me, if you're not celebrating that result, there's something wrong with you. Of course you've got to celebrate that result. But of course there's got to be a large part of you that goes, bloody hell, we were lucky. And don't talk to me about the 99 final. It's become such a myth that we didn't deserve to win that game when we were really lucky. Watch the 99 final back. It's more 50-50 than you think. I mean, the way to win it, you can understand Bayern Munich being a bit pissed off. Good. But we actually played some good football in that final. Beckham was fantastic and we did create chances. It wasn't like last night at all. So the style of football is the thing at Manchester United. That's what needs to improve. But I don't think we're going to see good football under Solskjaer. I don't know whether he knows how to do it, but I don't think he wants to do it. He keeps coming out talking about, like last night, and he said it before, we tried to play attacking football. You didn't. You didn't. You didn't, because we didn't play attacking football. We played long ball for most of the game. Every chance we had in the first half came from a long ball from the defence. So we didn't try and play attacking football. And you almost feel like the ravings of a mad person, really, because you keep talking about how bad we're playing football, but then you'll get Ollie coming out and going, I don't know what you're on about. We tried to do this, that. And you think, am I watching a different game? Are they watching about a different game? But then you watch Brentford, you watch Brighton, you watch, all these teams playing football. And you go, I've not watched United for a long time and gone, I know what we're trying to do. Because there's no patterns. There's no rhythm. There's no rhythm in our play at all. You never know when Luke Shaw gets the ball or Wan-Bissaka gets the ball or Fred gets the ball. You never know what's happening next. Whereas, when Patrice Evra or Gary Neville got the ball, I knew they were going to knock the ball into the midfield. They were going to start that run and then they were going to run past the midfielder, the winger, and then they're going to whip a cross in and Scholes was going to make a run from the midfield and the front two would be moving around. You knew what we were going to do. And I think, maybe some fans don't realise this because we just haven't done it for so long. We certainly didn't do it under Mourinho, didn't really do it under Van Halen, we didn't do it under Moyes. So it's been a long time where you've seen a United DNA. But if you're a Liverpool fan, you can basically watch your game and week in, week out, see what they're trying to do. Pep the same. Even teams like Brighton, but at United, we never know from game to game what we're going to do. But the pattern in the Champions League, if you look at the Young Boys game and you look at the Villarreal game for the first hour, was long ball. Don't watch them back. You'll get travel sickness. But it was a lot of long ball. Says a lot when we're continuously relying on Lingard to come out and deliver as a moment in the closing minutes of a game. Says Ellie. Well, I disagree with this. I think Lingard is also almost becoming a very useful sub to throw on and create chaos because he doesn't play in a position. But I mean, really, the cross from Fred is more important, and the finish from Lingard, Ronaldo is more important. But look, that's what happens. It was chaos. It was the same as West Ham, and we've won a game with it, so you can't knock it. But why are we putting ourselves into these positions in the first place? Why do we only ever respond when we're losing a game of football? It's tactically inept. It is. It's Moments FC, and I don't think it's going to get any better. So I think we're going to have to try not to just get toxic and everything like that, because I don't want to see that. I think ultimately everybody wants the same thing, and our only hope, and I firmly believe that this time in 12 months, Solskjaer will still be in charge. And I keep saying this, and I say it because I'm trying to, make people aware that how the club is run is not very good. It's not a very well run club in relation to, it's all about socials, it's all about positivity, it's all about money, because that makes money. They're not thinking about oh, the football's not great. That's not on the agenda of any boardroom meeting at Manchester United. Ed Woodward has come out 2 or 3 times in the last 4 years saying that, the principles we have are to play attacking football the United way, because he believes we are. They will think that we played attacking football last night because we won it at the end with Ronaldo. They won't know that we played bad football yesterday. So that sort of a thing is irrelevant. It's only relevant to fans. It's become a lost thing at United. The saddest thing is that, when Sir Alex Ferguson came into the club, even though we'd not won a title for many years, United still had a DNA of we must play risk attacking football. That's been lost by the football club now. It's almost become legend. There is nobody in that football club who has any drive for us to do it. It's like a legacy. It's like a word. We've got to play the United way, but we're nowhere near the United way. We're nowhere near it. And actually, the only thing that's the United way is the fans, because the fans last night were just superb, absolutely superb. They basically sucked the goal into the Stretford end yesterday. If that had been an away game, we would have lost 100%. Need some Viduka through midfield, says Grantos, and says a lot. We've done that one as well. And Ronaldo is a moment player. Cavani is a work rate example. Ronaldo may score more goals, but the team scores more with Cavani. I'd rather our team improve than rely on Ronaldo moment. Thoughts, Mark, says Nathan T. I think that's an early observation, Nathan. For me, that's just a seed in the brain. It's not anything I'm bothered about massively at the moment. But I must admit, a few times in the game yesterday, I was like, does Ronaldo benefit the team, or is he benefiting Moments FC? Are we moving to, if you think about life at United before Ronaldo, and you think about some of the results last year, like, let me pluck one out. Okay, so Wolves at Christmas, 0-0, doesn't make any subs, absolutely crap performance. And then Rashford, right at the end, hits a shot that deflects in the bottom corner and we get 3 points. And I think we went top of the league. It was around sort of early January, late December. That's a moment. That was moment. And that happened a lot. There was a lot of games where we were hanging on and a late deflection, they could have equalised, etc., etc. Moments. We've been moments before Ronaldo. Does Ronaldo make us become even more of a moments team, or does he make us more likely to play more attacking football? That's the question for me. I hoped Ronaldo coming in the team, he would be more demanding that we play better football. But at the end of the day, Ronaldo's the hero again. Viva Ronaldo. As long as he's scoring, is he that bothered about how we play football? As long as we're winning and he's scoring, I don't know. And I think that's the question. Does Ronaldo make us more of a moments team, or is he going to demand that we're going to become more of a footballing team? I think the players that are suffering are our creative players. I don't think Bruno played particularly well. Pogba didn't play well. Sancho didn't play well, and Greenwood didn't play well. Those are the players that are struggling in this team, and that to me is a big red flag. I don't think Telles played bad. I don't think Varane played bad. I don't think Matic played bad when he came on. I don't think Ronaldo in the last few minutes, Lingard in the last few minutes, Cavani in the last few minutes. But the creative players, the ballers, they're struggling. And that to me is something that needs to get picked up on. I think this is the next thing that the Gary Nevilles and everyone will pick up on, because they'll pick up on things that you've picked on a couple of weeks later. Sancho's struggling, and obviously that'll get the headlines because he's a new signing. Pogba's struggling, Bruno is struggling, and Greenwood is struggling. They are ballers. They're footballers, and they're struggling in our team. Ronaldo's not struggling because he's chance he'll score. Defenders aren't struggling because that's their job. They're busy. But the creative players, they're struggling because they're getting bypassed. We're not getting the ball to them. Who's better tactic-wise, Moyes or Ollie, says Jayling's fam. I'm not really interested in that. I don't really want to look at that. What I would say is that there's not a massive amount of difference between the way we play under Ollie and the way we played under Mourinho. It is very pragmatic and slow. But I'm hoping, you know what? I'm so happy the Everton game is coming up really quick, because that is a massive win for us. And the one positive for me is the unity in the players. I love De Gea at the moment. De Gea really is the captain on the pitch at the moment. He had a go at Maguire at the weekend. He's having a go at everyone. He's getting everyone into a huddle. He's making big saves. David De Gea playing the way he's playing at the moment is so important to United. And the players are clearly together. And they obviously felt very, galvanised last night. So maybe we see a different United against Everton. We go into the international break and we come back and we see a different United again. Everton will fancy their chances on Saturday. That could play into our hands. Everton have had all week off. We will be very tired. A lot of players are going to have to play 2 games in 3 days. But I think, I'm hoping, and hope is always the word, that we can get a spark from this into the Everton game. But as I said, as an overarching thing, we all want the same thing. We all want Manchester United to win, whether it's the board, Ollie, the players, the fans, the divisions in the fans. We all want Manchester United to win, and that's the most important thing. But I totally accept that, as much as I'm not Ollie Out, because I just don't think you can sack a manager in this situation. I wouldn't, so I can't be Ollie Out. Personally, I wouldn't, but you could be. I would have him in the office if I was in charge, because I'd be saying, what the hell is this football you're playing, mate? I know we're winning, but how many times are you going to roll that dice and win? And the thing is, I should explain this. People will say, well, we're winning games. And you're right. We won't win a league title. We're not going to win a league title playing like this. The reason we won't win a league title is we'll probably accumulate enough points to get maybe third, maybe even second, but certainly fourth. You can't get first playing like that, because you'll lose to Villa every now and again. You'll draw to Southampton every now and again. If you're playing a defined, attacking, identity style of football, you go to Southampton and you win. You play Villa and you win. You play Everton and you win. That's how you win a title. Liverpool, Man City. You win every week, or most weeks, with an attacking, defined way of playing. We will win a lot of games, but we will drop enough points to put ourselves out of a title race. Playing like this. Playing with McTominay and Fred, bypassing your attacking midfield, playing with McTominay and Pogba, or Fred and Pogba. Whatever. That midfield is not strong, and therefore we're Moments FC. Moments FC will never win a league title. It won't happen, because if you're Moments FC, your luck won't last for 38 games. There will be Villas, there will be Southamptons, and that will accumulate to around 20 points being dropped, and that will put you just out of the title race. We'll be firmly in the top 4, but we won't win the title. And that, to me, is the disappointing thing right now, is I'm sort of, unless Ollie just pulls a madness and we start playing Matic and Pogba and we start playing really good football, I think we're in for a season of this where we will win a lot of games, but we won't win enough to win a title, and that is disappointing, because I think we've got a team that's full of talent that really could be one of the best teams in Europe, but Ollie either doesn't want to or doesn't know how to play the brand of football that we deserve to see with those players. So I think it's going to be an interesting season. But as I said, I hope it could be a spark. You never know, it could be a spark. But I think until he starts playing a holding midfielder with a number 8, we're not going to see good football, because the minute we go back to McTominay and Fred, you lose that creativity again. But we didn't have it last night anyway. Mark, I feel like we're just stuck in the same pothole we were 2 years ago, with the same questions and same concerns. What do we need to change, says Milverton. But sometimes in life, Milverton, there isn't a change. There isn't a change. You think about the tyres on your car. Well, they're not as good as they were, but they're not illegal. I'll just keep using them. You just keep going along the road. You're not going to break down. You're not going to slip off the road. They're not illegal tyres, but you probably could do with some new ones. But it's not. I don't think anything is going to change. The club is very happy. The club is very happy. The players are very happy, bar 1 or 2. And the results are decent. So nothing's going to change. Our only hope is that we start to play good football. And I really hope that we do. I really hope we do, because we've got some fantastic players. And, look at the fans last night at Old Trafford. We've played absolutely shit. And they basically, for the last 20 minutes, roar them on. They're staying in the ground half an hour afterwards singing songs. Imagine what this football club can be if we can get back to where it should be. Everything's in place. I think the playing squad, the fans, everything is in place. Apart from the coaching at the moment leaves a lot to be desired. I love Ronaldo. Glad he's here. He lets the other team's defence pass it out to their midfield too easy. Doesn't chase the ball down. Cavani does it, says Dazzo. Look, I do think Cavani was fantastic yesterday. I'm a massive fan of Ronaldo. I really am. Viva Ronaldo. But I think you really saw. It's nothing against Ronaldo. I think he's fantastic. But I said it in my match reaction. I think Cavani is probably one of the best number 9s in the world for closing down and energy. Unbelievable. And it makes a big difference. Like Villarreal crapped themselves. You know, for me, the substitutions that made the most difference were not Lingard and Fred. They did well, but it was Matic and Cavani. Matic got hold of the midfield, and Cavani made that Villarreal defence, who were willing to pass out under massive pressure. Cavani rumbled that defence, and Matic got hold of the midfield. That was the double substitution that made the difference. Cavani pressing from the front relentlessly, and Matic just running the midfield. So, you know, we should have played like that from the minute one, but, you know, it is what it is. So I think I've covered everything I wanted to discover this morning. You know, we've got the preview coming up at 2 o'clock for the Everton game. It's a quick turnaround. Ollie will have his press conference tomorrow. I think we will win on Saturday, but, you know, it is what it is. It's a fantastic win, and God, we needed to win. We had to win. I don't want to play in the Europa League. I don't want to be in the Europa League. We've got to get out of this group. If we get knocked out in the first round in February, fine, but we've got to get out of the group. So the win last night was so much needed. But I do think that the debate will roll on until we see better football, and this is why you've got the mainstream media and ex-players and fans talking about it, because the football's not good. It's not good, and I think the coaches are out of their depth at the moment. At the moment, I think they're out of their depth. I think the fact that Brighton and Brentford and other teams can play better football than we do, and yet we've got some of the best players in the world, the coaching is out of its depth. And everyone can say that it's great in training, but it's what you do on a match day. And on a match day at the moment, watching countless long balls from the back, bypassing ballers like Sancho and Pogba and Bruno and Greenwood, that ain't it, is it? So let's hope we see something better. Strange times, we're almost lost for things to say. We know the issues, we talk about them and nothing changes. Like you said, we just have to hope. That's all we've got, says Nick P. I ordered the Last Dance hoodie from United Stand a couple of days ago. I haven't received any updates on the shipping yet. How can I get updates? There is an email address on there, Vishal, but it sometimes can take you know, if you're abroad, it will take a few days for it to get shipped out anyway. And what worries me is that Ronaldo does not get enough chances in a game, and that's not his fault. Even with Cavani on, they won't create enough, says All Out Sports. Well, creating chances has always been our problem, and to be honest with you, apart from Ronaldo's chance at the end, that was probably his only big chance in the game, and it came in the 96th minute. So you know, if you've got a player like Ronaldo or Harry Kane, you've got to Lukaku, you've got to be creating them 3 or 4 chances. That's your focus. If you've got a player like that, you've got to create them chances. And Ronaldo had to wait until that late to get his chance, and thankfully he took it. If you want to get one of these hoodies, they're brand new out. Links in the video description, and we do ship worldwide. There's also the Last Dance one and everything else like that. Thanks everybody for watching as normal. Very mature conversations as ever. Make sure you check out the vlogs on the channel as well. Loving the way we're doing the match day vlogs now. None of this crowd and, you know, Ollie in, Ollie out shit. You know, not that people who are talking aren't Ollie out or Ollie in, but it's just, it's more authentic. It's more individualistic, which is what we want from them match day experiences. Check those out as well. Thanks everyone for watching. Fantastic as ever. And I'll speak to you all at 2 o'clock for the preview.